Well, welcome back, everybody. This is Pucks from the Pine Tree Pod. I'm your host, Benjamin Kennedy. Thank you so much for joining me again this evening. Happy Wednesday out there. I hope everybody is having just an excellent week so far. 2 more days to the weekend. We can make it, we can get there. Over the next couple of weeks, I do want to explore and examine some of, as NHL Radio's Mick Kern would call them, battleship teams as we prepare for the NHL playoffs. Mostly because I watched so much bad, awful hockey the past few weeks with the Boston Bruins. I just want to focus on some good hockey for a change. Get myself ready for the playoffs. They are right around the corner, so let's get ready. We are going to dive in tonight to the Winnipeg Jets. Just an impressive season so far. 47, 18, and 4 record through 69 games. Good for 98 points and first in that Central Division. Also tied for first with Washington for that President's Trophy spot. So I'd be curious to see if they can lock that in as the year goes on. Looking at their home and away splits this year, 25, 5, and 4 at home. So big time home ice advantage there. 22 and 13 on the road. So no slouches when they hit the road. You always try to have like a 500 record on the road. That's usually good. They're way above that. So good on them. Of course, a little bit of bad timing, right? They do lose to Vancouver last night, 6-2. Not a great performance there by the boys, but 5-4-1 over the past 10. They do have Edmonton on the 20th. So coming up tomorrow night, they go to Edmonton for that one. So it should be a really fun game to watch there. I have to step a little bit later for that one here on the East Coast. Looking at some of their key stats here, goals for on the season, 3.45, good for third in the league. Goals against, 2.33, good for first, a plus 77. I think there was only one other team plus 70 or higher, so they're blowing that number out of the water. Power play as well, 30.7%, first overall. Just a power play you don't want to have to face very often. You got to play very disciplined against this team to be successful. PK sitting at 78.7%, good for 15th, and the faceoff dot there at 49%, good for 23rd. I believe that's actually up a tick from last season. So, still maybe one, minor weak spot there, but certainly hasn't hurt them so far this year. I did look at some other fun stats from moneypuck.com. I don't usually talk about, expected type stats, but I do have a few I want to pull out for this one tonight. Looking at high danger shots against. So high danger shots given up. They've given up 221 on the season. Good for 11th. So what does that tell us? It tells us that defensively they're doing a very good job, as a team, eliminating those high danger chances, not giving up a lot of, 2-on-1s or breakaways, not really forcing Hellebuck to have to make too many, grade A type of saves. Although when they do give them up, he's more than ready for them for sure. Rebound goals against, they've given up 21. So only 21 goals have come off rebounds. Good for 7th in the league. Again, that tells you Hellebuck's doing a great job putting rebounds in good spots. The team is doing a great job cleaning those rebounds up and not allowing teams to come in for, second and third whacks at it. Goals for above expected, 21.02 on the year. That's good for first. So they have scored 21 more than expected on the season. Goals against above expected, minus 36.75. So they've given up almost 37 less goals than expected. That's also good for first. And goal differential above expected, naturally, 57.77, also good for first overall in the league. So just from a numbers and a statistical perspective, they are just having themselves a year. Looking at some of the top performers, all names that any NHL fan should recognize. Forward Kyle Connor, 69 games for him, 36 goals, 49 assists for 85 points. Forward Mark Sheffley, 69 games for him, 35 goals, 40 assists for 75 points. Healthy Gabe Vilardi, 69 games played, 27 goals, 34 assists for 61 points. Nikolai Ehlers, 60 games played, 22, 36, and 58 line for him. And defenseman Josh Morrissey, 68 games played, 10 goals, 42 assists for 52 points. The team has 10 players with double digits in goals scored on the year. They're only one of 8 teams that can say that. They have over 10 players in double digits. So great um, depth up and down that roster and that lineup. Great to see. I'm just going to hit the pause button real quick, take a real quick sip of water here. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's talk about goalie Connor Hellebuck coming off a Vesna winning year last season. And man, what a year he's having. 53 games he's appeared in, has a record of 39, 10, and 3. 9.24 save percentage and a 205 goals against average. 6 shutouts so far on the season. And we're not even done. So he is leading the league in terms of starting goaltenders, leads the league in wins, save percentage, goals against average, and shutouts. Awesome, awesome year for him. Just a complete workhorse of a goalie. Give him the Vesna right now. I don't think there's any reason to even vote on this at this point. I don't really think we have to wait till the end of the year. He's the best goalie in the world, and that hasn't changed from year to year. Beyond the numbers, beyond the players, I also want to look at attendance. I kind of thought about this because I'm remembering back a couple years ago when there was a lot of rumblings about poor attendance in Winnipeg. Season ticket holders numbers were down, and there were some pundits out there saying, "Oh, maybe Winnipeg's going to lose their team again." Not something you want to hear. It's great. I think it's great that they were able to make their way back to Winnipeg. But looking at the attendance numbers this year, and I am going to quote soundofhockey.com writer John Barr here, the Jets have the highest increase in attendance in the NHL, growing 15.9% over prior season. So that's awesome. That's an awesome number of fans are showing out, showing up, and showing out for this team. That's awesome. Awesome to see. Canada Life Center, of course, is the smallest venue in the NHL. They seat just over 15,000. I think it's like 15.2 or 15.3, something like that. Sorry about that cough, guys. So I think the numbers are really, really good. I mean, they have over 480,000. So what is it? 482,423 for an attendance so far this year, averaging 14,189 per game. So that's at a 93.2% capacity. Not bad for such a small arena, and not bad considering where attendance had been, a couple years prior to. So I think that they are very healthy, stable from that perspective. That's awesome. And all that chatter about fans not showing up or attendance being down, that all that chatter has gone out the window. So great to see that. I want to take a minute and go back to my summertime predictions. I did a prediction for every team and had a little write up on each one as we got into October. And I'm just going to read some snippets here of what I had to say about Winnipeg going back to, I think it was either July or August. Despite losing to Foley and Monahan to free agency, I see a lot of offensive depth up and down this lineup. I count up to 9 players that have 20-goal offensive potential. A strong key to this depth could be Gabe Vilardi. Came over from the LA Kings in the PLD trade, only played 47 games, but still managed a 22, 14, and 36 line. If he can give you 75 games, look for him to be a 30-plus goal guy this season. The loss of Brendan Dillon is going to be felt on the blue line. Last season, he ranked third among all defensemen in hits with 241. He played 161 minutes on the PK, roughly half of the possible PK minutes for Winnipeg. He also ranked 18th among all defensemen in shooting percentage, showing that he had an offensive element to his game. You've lost a combined 2,500 minutes of ice time between he and Schmidt. Where are you making that up? What's not a question mark is their goaltending. Connor Hellebuck is your reigning Vezina winner and traditionally one of the top goaltenders in the league year in and year out. Hellebuck is a bit of a throwback goalie, playing over 60 games most seasons, and he's been great for the most part. It would be nice to see Winnipeg manages just a little bit better this year, though. Numbers in each of the past 2 playoffs are not great. 5.23 goals against, an 870 save percentage last year, and 3.44 GAA and an 886 save percentage the year prior. I don't think anyone is throwing blame at him for the playoff failures. However, so additional regular season rest could prove beneficial come April and May. The team added a couple of backup goaltenders this summer, so it'll be something to keep an eye on this year. Unless the wheels fall off for Hellebuck or the team is ravaged with injuries, this should still be a playoff team. The only real roster concern is overall depth on defense. Given their available cap space, this could be addressed as the season goes on. Yes, the Central is loaded. Yes, I believe Nashville could pass them in the standings. I just have to laugh at that. Oh, that did not age well. But I don't see anyone else at the bottom of the Central making a push. The Blues, Wild, Utah still have too many question marks at this point for me to feel they are a threat to Winnipeg's playoff chances. I got a few things right in there. Hellebuck, I got the Vilardi thing right. You're talking about Nashville. I think a lot of us are looking foolish when it comes to the Nashville Predators, but so I clearly had this as a playoff team. I think they've definitely exceeded my expectations. However, as I kind of had them as I think a third in the Central, because again, just thought that Nashville was going to rise up and make that a little more difficult. So good on Winnipeg for I think elevating expectations for a lot of us. A couple of trade deadline deals, of course, the team did make. They did address some of that defense. And listen, the defense has played, again, better than I expected, I think, throughout the season. But Luke Shen, of course, added to this team via, was it Nashville through Pittsburgh? So he got traded a couple times there. But Shen has 4 games so far for Winnipeg, 1 assist in that time at a +4. They also add forward Brandon Tanev from Seattle. He's got into 6 games, has a couple assists, and they said +2 there as they just kind of flush this roster out for a playoff run. Looking at FanDuel today, looks like the Jets are tied with the 6th best odds to win the Stanley Cup at a +1,000. I'm not a betting person, but kind of a good gauge to see, what those that do bet, how they feel about Winnipeg. But a +1,000, so they're right there. Very good chance, according to those bettors. If the playoffs did start today, of course, they would be matched up with Vancouver. And of course, despite that loss to them last night, I think there's no doubt they would be a heavy, heavy favorite in that series. No Demko for Vancouver. And we know all the struggles that kind of they've had from an offensive perspective. It was an impressive win for Vancouver last night. Not going to lie, when I saw that box score this morning, I was like, that was not expected. But let's take a look at the records that the Jets have had so far against all these other Western Conference potential playoff teams. And it's a good story, as you Jet fans will know. Against Dallas, you're 2-1. Colorado, you're 3-1. Minnesota, 3-0. St. Louis, I put them in there, 2-1. Vegas, 1-1. Edmonton, 1-0. Of course, you'll play them tomorrow night. The LA Kings, 1-1. Vancouver, 1-1. Calgary, 2-1. And that takes you to a total of 14-7-2. So you're not just getting, happy and fat off the bad teams in this league. You're beating the best of the best in your conference, in your division. A little bit of struggle with Vegas and LA, but hey, 14-7-2 against that group of teams. I think you take that if you're a Winnipeg Jets fan. So I would say this is the best Winnipeg team we've seen in quite some time, and this may be their best chance at a Stanley Cup. They have the best goalie on the planet, no question. Great depth scoring up and down their lineup, very impressive. And so many of these advanced performance stats just show Winnipeg at or near the top of the league. Can Winnipeg ensure that Hellebuck will be rested and ready to go for the playoffs? And I struggle with this one because, goalies are creatures of habit. And he's such a workhorse. He's so used to playing, 4 out of 5 nights, right? Would extra rest actually help or hurt him going into the playoffs? Would that just throw him out of his routine? Sometimes that can happen. Curious about that one. But seeing how he bounces back from such a disastrous playoff last season will be very interesting to watch. I think he's going to have all the motivation in the world to truly just kick ass and not be a talking point like it was a year ago. I do think that holding on to and winning the division, if they're in the Central, is going to be absolutely critical. Right now, they are up 9 points on Dallas, so they're sitting very comfortably in that spot. This will help, of course, avoid any matchup with Colorado or Dallas in that first round, which just wow. I mean, we're looking right now at a Colorado Dallas first round matchup. That would be an awesome first round series. But if you're Winnipeg, you can let those guys duke it out, worry about the survivor of that series and what could be a potential second round matchup. And of course, while you don't want to look past any team, trust me, give me Vancouver, give me St. Louis, give me Calgary, give me Minnesota all day over Colorado and Dallas. Absolutely. No disrespect to those other clubs, but yeah, I'm going to take my chances against that group versus an Avalanche or a Stars team in the first round. So, for any Jets fans out there, who do you want to see in the first round? How optimistic, especially coming off a bad loss last night, right? You're going to lose some, but how optimistic are you feeling today? I think you should be feeling really, really good. But please leave those comments down below. Would love to hear from you guys. I just cannot wait for the playoffs to start. This should be just so much fun. A good 2 month ride here of hopefully some really exciting drama filled hockey. I cannot wait for it. And who knows, the Winnipeg Jets might be there in June lifting a cup. Wouldn't be sad about that. It would not be a bad thing to see the cup go back to Canada. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening tonight. If you do like what you're hearing here on this channel, please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below. It helps me out so much. Absolutely appreciate all the love that I've been getting here lately. And until next time, everybody, be kind, show love, and God bless.